Hi, my name is Deb Kutrieb. I'm an instructor in the Architectural Commercial Design program here at WITC in Rice Lake, Wisconsin. Let's talk about career options in architecture. So, finding a job for the rest of your life. Daunting, overwhelming, impossible? Well, it's daunting and overwhelming, but not impossible. It's a lot of years till you actually retire, so you want to find a great job. Don't worry, first of all. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, baby boomers, those born between 1945 and 1960, changed or are changing still their jobs 11 times in their careers. That's once every 4 years or so. So this means that if you want to find the perfect job, find one that interests you, find one that allows for change, and one that can allow you to change, because frankly, you're not going to be the same person at 40 that you are at 20. Number 2, hey, look, architecture fits that bill. There are lots of different careers in architecture for all sorts of different people. Those who love designing, love computers, love being outdoors, love to communicate and solve problems, the list goes on and on. So the goal is to find something that interests you. Dare I say something that you love, or at least like. So, is architecture that thing for you? Well, let's look and see what architecture is all about. Architecture in its basic form is a combination of design and construction that is communicated to the client and builder through the use of computers. More specifically, computer-aided design, or CAD. You could also say that architecture is a combination of art and science. Either way, those three components are what we in architecture do on a daily basis. Let's look at the ACT's World of Work map, shall we? Okay, in the bottom right-hand corner, you can see the ideas and things category. That is where architecture and construction fits, the world between ideas and things. Don't forget, however, that buildings are built for people, by people, and that communicating with people is a crucial part of this. It's just not the main focus. Back to the basics. Let's look at each of these components a little bit more and think about where your specific interests lie. First, we'll start with design. Design is all about the way something looks. Think of a really awesome building that you've either seen or walked into. Why did you like it? Were the shapes and materials super awesome? Were they interesting? Did they make you feel at home? Second, construction. Construction is all about figuring out how things go together. It's like mechanical design, but on a much larger scale. Buildings can be put together using many different types of materials in many different ways. Thinking through that process of construction takes a lot of critical thinking and problem-solving skills. Lastly, computers. Just letting you know that in this field, you'll be using computers a lot. For the most part, computers are used to draw up buildings, to create floor plans, elevations, building sections, etc. But there are other things that we use them for as well. Writing reports, calculating loads on a spreadsheet, keeping in contact with team members. Some people have a strong interest or background in only one of these areas, but study architecture knowing that they will learn the other two. Others have a strong interest or background in two of these areas, knowing that they will learn to love the other one. But what if you don't have all of those? Are you still feeling anxious? Don't ever feel that you need to come into a program like Architectural Commercial Design with pre-existing skills. We at WITC will teach you what you need to know. It's what we do. Okay, enough of that. Let's get on to talk about the types of careers and where people work in this field of architecture. First of all, architectural offices employ drafters, project managers, CAD and BIM managers, and architects. Starting at the top, architectural drafters can also be known as technicians or specialists. This is often an entry-level job and can be, as you'll see, either at an architectural firm or at a manufacturing company, lumberyard, corporate office, or design-build firm. Project managers might do some drafting, but they are in charge of several building projects at the same time, so they need to keep track of all of them at once. They work in architectural firms, but as you'll see, can also be at other types of companies as well. CAD and BIM managers are really the go-to people in an office for knowing how the computers should work. Architects may do some drafting. Their main job is to really meet with clients and direct the design team for several projects at a time. In Wisconsin, by the way, you can become an architect with just a high school degree and an associate's degree, number of years of work, and you can take a test and become licensed. Okay, moving on. Design build companies. They also employ the same types of people at an architectural office, but the focus is in two parts, designing it and then building it. So they employ designers, and they also employ contractors and a construction crew or crews. At lumber yards, there are also drafters. But the thing with the lumberyard is the drafters can work directly with a client one-on-one and give immediate feedback and drop a set of plans fairly quickly. Lumberyards also employ estimators and sales folks. Estimators are the people that really understand construction, and they are able to translate that design into dollars and cents. Sales is a viable and often lucrative career at lumber companies and also manufacturing companies. They need to have the estimator's skills along with the ability to deliver materials on time. Manufacturing firms are a place that we don't often think of employing architectural type people. But if you think of all the types of architectural manufacturing that goes on, trusses, windows, doors, steel, concrete, they need to have drafters, estimators, and sales as well. There are also plan reviewers and building inspectors. These folks tend not to draft hardly at all, but their main job is to review a set of plans or go to a construction site to make sure that everything is up to code. And then there are the corporations. Some corporations, like those listed here, have in-house design teams. And so when a company is going to build a new store, their in-house design team goes to work. Oftentimes this involves a lot of travel, which can be a cool perk to any job. Earlier I mentioned that people change their jobs a lot, up to 11 times for some people. In architecture, you can make either vertical or lateral moves. A vertical or an upward move is when you really like a company and they like you. You earn promotions that give you both more responsibility and more pay. In an architectural firm, you may start out as a drafter and move your way up to become a project manager. In time, you can even become an architect. But what if there's no room for vertical movement? So you switch companies. Interestingly, in architecture, sometimes it's really beneficial to change the type of company you work for. For example, you could start at a manufacturing company, say a truss company. You get really good at designing trusses and knowing everything about truss design. But something comes up, and you start working for a lumber yard. Think of how your experience as a truss designer will help you draw up wood frame buildings. Then if you need to move or an opportunity arises, you can be a drafter at an architectural firm. All of those skills help make a project run smoother, which ultimately leads to a happier client. So take some time to review these 5 things. Go ahead, pause if you want. When you're done, continue on. Do you still have any questions about this? If you do, please give me a call or send me an email. I really love questions, especially about architecture and career options. So thank you very much for watching this. Like I said, if you have questions, let me know. Other than that, have a great day.